Then wow. A powerful earthquake with a magnitude of almost 9 struck Kamchatka, Russia today, and the tsunami caused by this earthquake reached Japan and even the United States. In addition, after the massive earthquake, a volcanic eruption began, and the highest volcano in Eurasia, Klyuchevskaya Sopka, became active. The scale of the destruction is still being assessed, but it is already known that the earthquake in Kamchatka affected a closed city where Russian nuclear submarines are based. And there is already information that these submarines may have sustained critical damage. My name is Alexei Pechi. Today is July 30th. In this episode, we'll look at the disaster happening in Kamchatka, the earthquake, its consequences, and most importantly, how much this earthquake could have or did damage key military facilities of the Russian Federation. Before we begin, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, give it a like, leave any comments you want, and be sure to subscribe to my Telegram channel. The link to it is in the description of this video. Let's review everything step by step. An earthquake occurred off the coast of Kamchatka today. The maximum magnitude was 8.8. This was reported by the Federal Research Center of the Unified Geophysical Service of the Russian Academy of Sciences. The epicenter was located 149 kilometers from Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky and 361 kilometers north of Kurilsk. Experts noted that the earthquake on July 30th was the strongest since 1952. The rupture spread for at least 200 kilometers in a southwesterly direction along the axis of the deep sea trench. After the main earthquake, 30 more noticeable tremors were recorded, with intensities ranging from 2 to 5 points. But experts warn this is only the beginning because so-called aftershocks with magnitudes up to 7.5 will continue for at least a month. The authorities of the Kamchatka region reported that there are victims without specifying their number. People were injured fleeing their homes. Tragically, one person reportedly leapt from a window. Another woman was injured in the new airport building. These are all the words of the Minister of Health of this region, Oleg Melnikov. In Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, there are disruptions with electricity and communication. Part of a kindergarten building has collapsed. Cracks have also appeared on the walls of some clinics and social institutions. In the Yelizovsky district of this region, a tsunami wave up to 4 meters high was recorded. Specialists are currently not recommending approaching the water or visiting areas near Avacha Bay, especially Kalaktirsky Beach, Inglishanka Bay and Prilivnoye Lake. In the Severo-Kurilsky district, a state of emergency was declared after an earthquake with a magnitude of almost 8.3 tsunami waves hit the shore of Paramushir Island. It is also known that the earthquake in the Russian Far East caused 4-meter-high waves. A mass evacuation has been declared along the entire eastern coast of Japan and on the Pacific Islands. Tsunami waves higher than 3 meters are possible within a few hours on the coasts of Russia, the Hawaiian Islands, and Ecuador, and waves from 1 to 3 meters in Japan, Hawaii, Chile, and the Solomon Islands. Overall, to understand the scale of the tragedy, a tsunami warning was also issued in China, Taiwan, Indonesia, and Japan. By the way, the Japanese government called for the evacuation of almost 2 million residents. Waves about 60 centimeters high hit the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido and Iwate Prefecture. In the city of Tateyama, 4 whales were washed ashore on Hirosonora Beach.
This way.
4 were confirmed.
Confirmed.
I'll go.
It's still not certain whether this was washed up by the tsunami or not, but you can see from here that about 4 whales have been washed ashore.
A tsunami warning has been issued in the United States of America for Hawaii, the western Aleutian Islands of Alaska, and parts of Northern California. In addition, a watch has been issued for the Pacific coast. So let's sum up the geography of the areas affected by this earthquake. So, tsunami warnings remain in effect at this time. for Chile, Easter Island, Colombia, French Polynesia, the Galapagos Islands, Papua New Guinea, the Solomon Islands and Vanuatu, Japan, the Philippines, Guam, and the Northern Mariana Islands, as well as regions in Micronesia, Australia, and New Zealand. Meanwhile, in Russia, the highest volcano in Eurasia, called Klyuchevskaya Sopka, became active as a result of the earthquake. It is reported that hot lava began to flow down the western slope of Klyuchevskaya Sopka. There is a glow above the volcano. Explosions from ash and lava emissions can be heard, and today during the day the volcano released a 3-kilometer ash cloud, after which lava started to flow. Klyuchevskaya Sopka is a so-called stratovolcano on the eastern coast of the Kamchatka Peninsula in Kamchatka Krai, RFI called Sopka a stratovolcano. Since its summit is located at an altitude of 4,754 meters above sea level, which makes it the highest volcano in Eurasia. Klyuchevskaya Sopka is also considered one of the most active volcanoes in the world. Eruptions of this volcano have been observed since about the end of the 17th century. The last time the volcano erupted was in November 2023, and at that time the ash rose to a height of 13 kilometers. What had a major impact on air traffic, and not only in Russia but also in the United States and Canada? That's not all. Now we get to the most interesting part. The earthquake in Kamchatka affected a closed city where Russian nuclear submarines are based, and they could have suffered critical damage. This was reported by ASINT, a project of Frontelligence Insight. The epicenter of the earthquake was about 100 kilometers from Avacha Bay, where the Pacific Fleet of the Russian Federation is based. One of the settlements affected by the earthquake was the closed city of Vilyuchinsk. This is the base for Russian nuclear submarines of the Bore class and fourth-generation nuclear submarines named Imperator, Alexander, Tretty, and Krasnoyarsk. Frontelligence. Insight notes that there are several key facilities in Avacha Bay of the Russian submarine fleet and naval infrastructure. I'll quote further. 3 of them stand out. The Northeastern Repair Center, which services both diesel and nuclear submarines. The Rybachi submarine base, where the submarines of the Pacific Fleet are stationed, and a specialized pier for loading ballistic missiles onto submarines. The extent of the damage to the military infrastructure from the earthquake is not yet fully clear, but some destruction is possible, according to the founder of Frontelligence Inside. Well, as they say, Russia is beginning to pay the price for its aggression against Ukraine. Well, apparently nature senses something and understands who needs to be punished with these earthquakes. I'll leave it at that. Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, hit the bell, and like the video. That's all for now. Take care. Goodbye, everyone.